Nick Gallo, Valley Sports. Chet, just the feelings that you had walking on the floor for the first time. You said a couple days ago, gratitude is what you're going to be thinking, but competitiveness too. Is that what it was tonight for you?
Yeah, a lot of emotions among those. Like I told you, post game out on the court, excitement too. Not only myself, we got a lot of dudes who've been working really hard this summer and have gotten better at a lot of things, and the excitement to show what we've been working on is there, and even though there's that excitement, there's no rush. We still got a lot to work on, a lot of things. Sorry, I'm new to this. We still got a lot of things we got to work on and get better at, but we're excited to take the challenges head on.
Brett Dawson, sellout crowd. Chet, you've played in games with obviously much higher stakes. Were you nervous? Are there nerves for the first time in the building?
I wouldn't say nervous. Like I said, myself as well as the rest of the team, we've been working really hard this summer, but definitely an anxiousness. We have shoot around at 10 a.m. and then you're kind of just waiting for the game to start for the rest of the day. So there's an anxiousness and excitement to get out there and play. And once the tip goes up, all that kind of goes away. You just get to just go play.
Andrew Schlecht of The Athletic. You have all this excitement, but then you also have Victor Wembanyama on the other side. Was there even more excitement because of that for you?
Obviously, a great player, and a great team on the other end to match up with. But that's what the NBA is, man. It's a great player, great players every single night. So you kind of just got to keep a steady head and not let tonight or tomorrow or the day after that kind of make you go up or down. You got to stay really steady through the ups and downs of the season, and that's kind of what I'm trying to work on early on.
There you go. Hi, Chet. Brian from ESPN. I know you and Victor have been connected for years, even though you haven't played against each other very much. And he just was saying that he thinks this is going to be the start of a lot of really good games against each other. Do you feel that way?
100%. I played against him a couple years ago in FIBA, and it's really cool to see, players from across the world be connected through the NBA. And, I plan to play a long time, and I'm sure he does too. So there'll be no choice but to go back and forth. So I'm excited for tonight and tomorrow, but the future down the road as well.
You guys were really Pop mentioned you guys are going back and forth at each other, but not out of the flow of the game. Did you feel that in the game that when he would make a play that you were looking to do something back?
That's something that you can really get baited into, and it tends to happen to young players sometimes, but I feel like Vic, as well as myself, really did a good job tonight of understanding that, it's not the Chet versus Vic show. If we want that, there should be a charity game in the summer or something, but this is the Thunder versus Spurs, and it's preseason. We're trying to get better within our teams. And sometimes that comes down to making a play individually, but going out there and, making it about ourselves wasn't what I was trying to do, and I'm sure it's not what he was trying to do on his end. And, the Spurs, I'm sure they're a great organization, and I know the Thunder is too, and there's good people telling us, kind of how to handle things early on.
Go to Jerry in the middle. There we go.
Daniel Bell, BSO. In Summer League, you mentioned that you had a little ways to go physically and conditioning wise. How do you feel now compared to then?
I feel really good. Right before Summer League, had a couple knick-knack setback stuff that kind of kept me from being in the type of shape that I like to keep myself in. But since Summer League, I haven't had any hiccups or setbacks, so I've been able to really keep a steady pace of making sure I'm in that optimal shape, but not overdoing it. And from playing throughout the summer to when I got back to Oklahoma playing pickup with the guys and then straight into training camp. I feel like I've done a pretty good job of staying in shape, and I haven't played 82, so I don't know what 82 game shape is, but I'm trying my best to get ahead early, so I'm not trying to catch up.
Coming off that injury last year, you can see Kenrich whenever he got on the floor, and he was injured quite a bit last year too. Did you kind of root for the guy coming out, just seeing him be as energetic and just kind of loving basketball again after being injured last year too?
Kenny Hustle, my dog. I root for all my teammates the same way. I hope every teammate hits every single shot, and I'm cheering for everybody. Because they're right there next to me, putting in the work with me. So anytime they have success, it's success for me too. At the end of the day, it's Oklahoma City Thunder, and he's a part of that, and he does great things for us. So, I'm excited every time I get to step on the court with him and see him do his thing.
Paris Austin Valley Sports.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, this was the first time you got a chance to play in front of this Paycom Center crowd. It's one thing to be in the building. It's another thing to be on the floor. Just what was that experience like for you today?
Man, it was great. Shout out to Oklahoma City and their fans. Last year obviously wasn't what either of us wished and hoped for, but even through it all, they supported me through obviously the tough time of last year, and that was huge for me. That helped me in a lot of ways, when I was going through my rehab process, and now to be able to go on the court and play in front of them and hear them, cheering, not only for myself, but the rest of our team, it's a great experience, and, I'm looking forward to it for a long time to come.
Just Martins, the Oklahoma, and Chet, just wondering what you remember from that FIBA matchup with Vic way back when, and just, what immediately stood out to you about him at that time?
Pretty much everything you guys are seeing now. Freak body type, whatever you would call it. I don't look up literally to many people, but that's one of them. And he's been skilled coming up, and people he's been working with done a good job of teaching them the game, and that's what I remember from that matchup. And it was a great game, came down to the wire, and we were able to take the gold medal home.
Anybody else? Yo, last one.
You're going to be Japan, so you know my
Shout
question.
out my fans in Japan.
So you managed to make the alley-oop. How did you feel about it?
The alley-oop?
Alley-oop, yes.
With J-Dub? Man, we've been working on that. Last couple of years, hasn't been like a predominant lob threat on the court, so I wouldn't even say it's like rust to shake off. It's just something that we've had to work on, and we've plenty of times and pick up and training camp and stuff. So it was great to connect on it, and I'm sure we'll make mistakes down the road, but I think it can be a really good play for us.
Thanks, Chuck. Thanks.
Yeah, appreciate y'all.
Jalen, Chet was just saying there's so much excitement to show what you guys have been working on, but there's no rush, and I just thought that was kind of interesting perspective. How do you guys go about kind of trying to get to everything that you have been working on? And I know that tonight was just the start of that.
Like the first 10 minutes felt like we were just running around the whole time. So I think everybody was antsy to finally play somebody that's not us. But I think we kind of settled in. I think everybody's just really excited to play, especially because we have a young group, and like I said, everybody's kind of tired of going against each other the whole time. But I think it's just going to come with settling down. So I think the preseason's good for us to figure it out. We have a lot of guys playing their first game, and even me, this is my second year, so we just have a lot of guys that are in new situations, and I think the preseason kind of served us well.
What was it like seeing Kenrich back?
Oh, it was great. Kenny Hustle. He got a little headband thing going on, so I support it.
Andrew Schlecht of The Athletic. You had a sequence where you threw the lob to Chet, then had a dunk of your own, had a block, and then another dunk. Like what's going through your head? Like what are your emotions during that entire sequence?
They were scoring the ball a lot, so we were kind of more focused on getting the stops. I don't really know what to describe what's going through my head. I know I ended up yelling, so. But anytime we can kind of get stops and get out, I think we're a way better team. And then, obviously having Chet as a lob threat is always fun to kind of just throw him up and see if he'll go get him. And then, like I said, I think our defense just kind of ignites our O. So.
Brett Dawson, sellout crowd. Jalen, what was it like guarding a 7'4" guy sometimes various places on the floor, and what were your early impressions of him?
It was fun. It's always fun to guard, other special players, and he's a special talent, so I definitely felt little. Yeah, and I don't think there's going to be a lot of people that aren't going to feel that way, but yeah, he's a special talent. It's always fun to, compete against that and get a different look at him, so.
Daniel Bell, BS. So, guarding a guy like that, how do you prepare? Like, have you played post defense, or did you practice on Chet playing post defense? You made him work a little bit, especially fronting him. Where you how do you mentally and physically prepare for something like that?
I lifted a lot this summer to kind of prepare to play different spots and be positionless. So just trying to do that. And I think everything just ended up coming down to competing. Trying to outbeat him to spots and push him as far as you can away from the basket because he's 7'5" or whatever he is. But yeah, just trying to outwork him with positions, just make it hard. And then obviously he's going to get some some tough buckets. I think he had a spin, left hand layup. You just kind of live with making it tough.
Jerry Ramsey, the franchise, alluding to what you just said, was a lot of talk around you getting beefier. Did you feel stronger out there? I know a lot of times last year we talk about some of your dunks, and you would talk about how long your arms are. Mm-hmm. Now your arms have a little bit of beef to them. Did you feel stronger out there?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I think just getting over screens, bumping people in the post, kind of taking contact, something I kind of worked on in the summer. And then, but yeah, I definitely feel stronger. I thought I kept a lot of my pace and, still being able to be athletic and quick, so.
Michael Martin, selloutcrowd.com. Shea out tonight, so Kaysen slides into the starting lineup. Just wanted to get your overall thoughts on Kaysen's debut with the Thunder, playing with you guys in the starters, and just as a rookie.
He fits in really well with us. He doesn't force anything. Played terrific defense tonight. So he'll be a big part in our thing. It was cool to see him come out for the starting lineups, just because obviously I was just in that position last year, so that was a pretty cool out of body experience for him, and excited for what he brings to the team, and yeah, he fits well with us.
Terrence, do you have one? No? Okay. Anybody else?
Appreciate it.
Jalen? That's a wrap.
Sports Oklahoma. Dāvis, it seemed like you all were able to have kind of a tone shift in that second half. What were you seeing out on the floor that allowed you guys to do a better job defensively?
I think it started at the end of the first half. Guys picked it up, made some stops, big plays, some highlights also in there, but kind of got everybody hyped, and I think that just kind of translated to the second half, and we kept going.
Seemed like Pop knew to try to shut things down pretty quickly and call a timeout after you hit those first couple. What was your reaction to that?
On the inside, it kind of make me laugh every time a little bit because it's not the first time against him. But I remember me being that other side's position when he calls a timeout because of me on defensive end. So I kind of laughed a little bit to myself about that.
Michael Martin, sellout crowd. Dāvis, you're known for getting your shot off extremely fast. Is that something that you developed just over the course of your career, or is that something that you've just had for a while? What's the process of speeding that up?
I guess that was a lot of work in the early days. I don't have to work on the shooting that much anymore. But when I was in my early 20s, 18, 19, just coming up in Europe, everybody knew me as a shooter, but the better you shoot, the more people run you off, get closer. So it just kind of from there, you just keep developing and keep shooting tougher shots. And I had a really great coach in Serbia that had interesting techniques of shooting drills just to make it tougher and tougher every day. So that kind of helped.
Dāvis, just what's it been like building chemistry with these guys out there? Obviously, it seems like they know immediately they can find you for these open looks. Just what's that been like, building that chemistry with them?
Honestly, for shooting, that's a big part of having your teammates trust you. And from day one I've been here, I feel the trust that they know that I'm going to knock those shots down. And it just helps a lot, and I could feel that everybody was looking for me. And it's just about making the shot at the end of the day. But yeah, the chemistry has been great. Everybody's playing for each other. You see that nobody's trying to be like, I'm going to be the guy that's making the play. It's like everybody's trying to make the right play. Of course, not always that happens, but the intention is there, so that definitely helps the team a lot.
Daniel Bell, BSO. Do you feel a little bit more in rhythm after playing FIBA basketball this summer?
Oh, definitely, yeah. Especially like basically at the end of the summer, I had a week to rest a little bit, mentally and a little bit physically as well. But definitely just being in that position where I'm getting a lot of looks, the ball's in my hands a lot, that definitely helps with confidence. And, at the end of the day, the more confident you're on the court, the better you play.
Are there challenges to that quick turnaround?
We'll see. Luckily, I don't have to play 35 minutes a night. Hopefully, Shea and Lou feel, good and ready to go from the jump and don't really have those issues, because it can be challenging at some point in the season, because everybody starts early August, compared to everybody else in the NBA starting basically end of September.
Anybody else? Thank you, Dāvis.
Thank you.
Questions for Coach?
Nick Galli, Sports. Mark, what stood out about just the way that you guys played through the 48 minutes? Seemed like the offense was humming in the first half, and then you got more to your defensive identity in the second.
Yeah, I thought the group to start the second half and all the way through the third quarter did a great job defensively. Certainly wasn't the way we wanted to guard early in the game. Classic early season stuff, lack of physicality, lack of discipline with the fouling of jump shooters. But I thought we course corrected pretty well. The last 4 minutes of the second quarter was very good, and that carried through halftime. But certainly a lot we need to improve on.
And then just with Chet, seemed like guys were able to find him and he was able to get into a rhythm early. What did you notice about the way that others were setting him up and that he was kind of accepting those opportunities?
I thought offensively we just played inside the system for the most part. We had a couple possessions where we deviated, but when we're working together and we're working the system like that, everybody's going to look good, everybody's going to play well, and it's going to be different guys on different nights that are producing. It was him tonight and Dort. But, at the end of the day, I thought it came out of the construct of the offense, which is important.
Marquis did a...
Where you go? Brett.
Oh, sorry. Right here. Go ahead. Yes, you can.
Sorry, I didn't know. Mark, obviously he did a lot of good things offensively. Did anything jump out at you about the way Chet played? Anything he did that you thought, well, that's good at this point, he's ahead there, or anything just stand out?
Not really, to be honest with you. I'm happy he just finished a long rehab. It's his first training camp. So like I said at Media Day, he should be grateful to be on the court. I think it puts being able to play in perspective anybody that goes through a long-term injury. But, he's got a lot of, obviously, he's got talent, but he's got a long way to go in a lot of areas. And at the end of the day, we can't get blinded by any player's talent. We have talented guys on our team. And the one thing they all have in common is they all need to improve in order for them to maximize themselves as players and maximize our team. And that's where our focus has to be. We have to learn from the good, learn from the bad, turn the page, and then test ourselves again in Montreal.
Andrew Schlecht of The Athletic. I want your thoughts on J-Dub and just the tough defensive assignment with Wembanyama, and then he seemed to get more aggressive offensively too as his minutes went on.
Yeah, I thought he had a decent gas early, and it just, he wasn't finishing plays. He missed a couple free throws. It just took him a minute to get into his rhythm, and then really got it going. But I thought, he was highly competitive on offense, great physicality. He was downhill. I thought he had great pace, and then defensively, he usually lines up. I thought that was obviously where something was left to be desired for all of us in the first half. We definitely have to look in the mirror on those habits because 80 in the first half's a lot.
Paris Lawson, OKCThunder.com. This was a really fast-paced game just for both sides. Just what did you think of the way you guys were able to implement some pace but also handle their speed as well?
I thought, like I said, the offense in the first half especially, we had a, good tempo, good pace, and also good system fundamentals. The pace wasn't getting us out of control for the most part. I thought we generated really good team rhythm and had good balance on that end of the floor. But a challenge when you play fast is to be able to sit down and really guard in the half court, and it's two different modes almost, and you've got to be really, really disciplined to do that well. And I thought tonight, our pace on offense loosened the game up, and it carried over defensively and on the glass, and certainly something we can learn from.
And then wanted to get your thoughts on Kaysen. Obviously, we know what he can do defensively. He had 3 steals, but he was also on the offensive glass as well. Just what kind of stood out to you about the things that he showed you tonight?
Yeah, similar to what we already knew. I think he, he's a winning player. He's tough. He's smart. Plays inside the team. He lets the game tell him what to do. He doesn't try to impose himself on the game. Even for him, starting his first preseason game, first time in an NBA uniform. He looked like that was his 100th game. He didn't go out there and try to do anything outside of himself, and I was impressed by that.
You mentioned the physicality. Do you like the way you guys responded, or do you feel like you guys could have played with more physicality?
We definitely could have played with more physicality, especially early. We just weren't touching them until it was time to shoot, and then we were just touching them all over their arms. So definitely things we can learn from there. But I told them in one of the timeouts in the second quarter, it's not always going to go the way you want it to go, and to be able to course correct in game is an important skill in the NBA because of the length of the game. And I thought we did that at the end of the second quarter. To the group's credit, I thought we buckled down a little bit, strung some stops together, had a little mojo going on that end, and it's got us back in the game.
And then this is the first time you got to do the new challenge rule. Does that change the dynamic of how you approach them?
No, we've always been pretty aggressive in terms of using it early, and the consequence of getting it wrong early is still the same. You only have one challenge if you miss it, but we don't like taking a lot in our pocket home with us. So if we have plays we think we can go get, we're going to go try to get them.
You want to talk a little bit about when Kenrich entered the game? I think you and Kenrich both talked about leadership can be anyone as long as they're doing the right thing. I think he came in and kind of energized that group.
Yeah, his competitive spirit is unmatched. He's a great competitor, and he hasn't played in a long time. It's one thing you forget. He got hurt and missed the end of the season, so he had a relatively long-term injury, missed a lot of games in a season that he had a lot to do with. He was one of the biggest reasons why we were in the position we were in last year, and he didn't get to go out there and test himself in that environment with the rest of the group. So he was excited to play. I was happy for him as well.
Michael Martin, sellout crowd. Can you just talk about Dāvis and his ability to get shots off from any point and just what that adds to your offense as a dynamic?
Yeah, not surprised. We've played against him so much. Nothing surprising. He's very consistent to his identity as a player. But the fact that he was able to squeeze off 4 of them in 10 minutes and squeeze off 6, make 4 of them in 10 minutes. Like I said, it's kind of business as usual for him. If he blocked 4 shots, it would have been more of a story.
Brett Dawson, sellout crowd. What were your first impressions of Wembanyama?
I get the hype of high draft picks and all that, but it's really about players' ability to impact the team that they're on. With all due respect, he's got a long way to go, just like every other rookie player that's ever entered the league. Sure, no one knows that more than him and Coach Pop. But it's really, we try to see every player relative to their team, especially our own players. There's talented guys in the NBA, but they've got to figure out ways to function inside of their team. And it was Spurs versus Thunder tonight, and it will be for the next 82. Not Spurs versus Thunder, but it'll be team versus team.
Yeah, Trey didn't really have the season he wanted to have last year, and I know that would make it easy for him to kind of get into his head and not be able to play as confident as he'd want to play. Can you kind of speak on his confidence today? Because I felt like he was playing extremely confident.
Well, I thought there's 2 things that I think are sources of confidence for him and for most players. First thing is work. And he had an unbelievable summer of work. He's a much better player now than he was at the end of last season. And the second is team, and his teammates are behind him. And he works with those guys. And those guys, it's hard when you're out of the rotation like that and struggling, and I thought the team hung in there with him. And the last point I'll make on him is he started the season last year, he was starting for us because Giddey was out. And by the end of the year, he's out of the rotation. And never once over 82 games, never once in the summer did he point a finger, make an excuse. All he did was get back to work. And I just have a tremendous amount of respect for him for that. It shows unbelievable character.
Anybody else? Thank you, Coach.
All right, thank you.